Could it be the shout heard round the country? Was that shout of victory in the BLM standoff a sign of pushback to come, or a premature celebration of a temporary victory against big government intimidation and overreach? Welcome to Liberty News TV. I'm Norval Rose. The battle lines were drawn, dramatically drawn over the weekend. Tensions high, nerves on edge, as heavily armed federal agents squared off against hundreds of angry cowboys and citizen militia, many of them also armed. At the heart of this dispute, a long-standing conflict with a southern Nevada rancher over his cattle, grazing fees, access to public lands, and states' rights, among other issues. The fight between rancher Cliven Bundy and the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, threatened to erupt into a range war as a massive federal force squared off against hundreds of men and women on foot and on horseback, waving American and Gadsden flags, demanding release of Bundy's cattle. The tense standoff came to a peaceful end, at least a temporary end, when the feds stood down and backed off, releasing the cattle to the cheers of the people who had come from all over to support the ranchers' stand against what many consider Big Brother's big bully brothers' overreach and intimidation. Since the end to this confrontation, the feds have said they will continue to pursue trying to get $1 million in fees and fines from rancher Bundy. Pursue that through the courts, not with tasers and dogs and helicopters and military-style assault teams. But what's the big picture in all this? What's the real agenda, the ominous overview? Well, as the who, what, when, where, and whys of this incident continue to be sorted out, was Harry Reid or his son involved? Was Reid's former right-hand man, now head of the BLM, trying to push the rancher off his land? Was there some deal with China mixed up in this ugly affair, a deal involving solar or shale or other money trail issues? As all this continues to be investigated, pieces of a very disturbing puzzle begin to fall into place. The Bureau of Land Management is only one of many powerful arms of the Obama government now aggressively trying to assert their authority and control. Consider what the EPA is doing, the Environmental Protection Agency, with its new definition of waters that should be controlled by the federal government, a move that many critics call the biggest land grab ever. Senators Vitter of Louisiana and Murkowski of Alaska warn of the EPA's brazen attempt to seize control of an untold amount of land, with one of the most significant private property grabs in U.S. history. And there are other federal agencies forcibly flexing their authoritarian muscle. The USDA Forest Service, the Corps of Engineers, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and the Bureau of Reclamation. All to one extent or another issuing rules and regulations and making administrative moves and counter-moves that would substantially increase the Obama government's control over our property and resources. So this conflict on that Nevada rangeland, this bold stand by a rancher and the men and women who came to stand with him, their pushback against an in-your-face federal government, takes on a far greater significance and reaches far deeper than some might suspect into a troubled well of American discontent, leaving many to wonder if that cheer that went up among those defiant men and women could have been the shout heard round the country. That is Liberty News TV for today. I'm Norval Rose. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you right back here next time.